Welcome to the Ship's Gonna Happen, episode number 64, podcast number 64. My name is Tony B. Alongside me, as usual, is David B. Matt G. was filling in for Tim, and then now Tim showed up. He's in the studio, so we're running 4 hot mics today. We have an interview with driver Grant from Canada, Grant Brown. You can find him on YouTube, too, and he'll tell us where you can find him as well. Topic number 1, the U.S. economy shrinks for the first time since the onset of COVID-19 in 2020. Number 2, David's got that, fuel prices and the demand for fuel prices. We are just 3 Americans discussing the topics that affect the transportation industry. Our views, the views of us 3, are purely news-driven and do not express the views of any transportation provider or any business entity that uses a transportation provider. Tim, why do we do it?
Transportainment.
Boom.
And these guys were on a transportainment last night. That's right, transportainment. That's why we do it.
Something last night.
That's right.
You can catch us on YouTube, Rumble, Spotify, Google Podcast, Amazon, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, our home website, ShipsGonnaHappen.com. All you have to do is Google us in the search bar, and you will find us. David B., happy Saturday morning.
Good Saturday morning to everybody. It's a beautiful Saturday morning. I almost drove the Jeep over this morning. It's that nice out. It's really, really nice. Just a good May Saturday. This show, along with all of our other shows, are brought to you by The Great Divide, 743 East New York Street, downtown Indianapolis. Great place to go to kind of unwind after a Ship's Gonna Happen week. Catch it up with the locals, listen to some music. Timmy D and I were there last night for a little bit, got a few beers in us. It was a good time, and we took the responsible route and Ubered home. And
a few?
Yeah, a few, too many.
A responsible route, or did I put you on the wrong route?
Yeah, well, I think I might always be on the wrong route or whatever, depending on who you ask. But we had a really good time yesterday, and it was a lot of fun. And we went with the music aficionado in studio today, Matty Ice, who was nailing it. He brought some good music. We kind of went a different path last night with our music. Kind of normally when we all get together, we kind of try to stump one another with some music, but this time we kind of brought some music out from our past, from 3 significant dates that we had growing up. So it was a really good time. Good to see everybody. Matty Ice, how are you this morning, sir?
Yeah, I am doing great.
You look good.
Well, hey, thank you. Hey,
it's the flip-flops.
It is the flip-flops. It is nice to have warm weather finally, and it's actually dry and warm. That musical array we put together last night at the bar, that was a bit interesting, a little bit eye-opening. I thought I knew music a little bit better than that. I guess I don't know pop music quite what I thought.
1988 is not his year, nor is 2002. That's the only 2 years I've ever been able to stump
I
him.
knew 86 through 88 is just got some bad music. But
And so we're on the record. I was not born in 88, nor was I born in 02. But neither in between either. I'm not old. Good night.
Yeah. That was your 2002. It threw me too. I have no idea what any of that music was. None.
2002.
oh my God.
What were you bumping in 2002, Tony B?
Man, I don't know.
20 years ago, when I still don't know any of that music.
20
Britney
years ago?
Spears, was she big back then?
I don't know.
I didn't hear any Britney.
But she had hair back then. She's not bald back then.
Yeah.
Well,
Did you see her new Instagram post?
No.
Oh, she's got a little heart over her private parts and her hands over her boobs.
She's knocked up, isn't she? I see she's knocked up.
She got released from her dad, so she can do what she wants. Apparently,
Yeah.
I'm gonna do what I want.
At 32,
She
at
could
32
get
years
pregnant.
old. No, she could get pregnant, but it's tough. Never mind. Just don't do it, Tim. Don't do it. Never mind.
Yeah.
Let's all for there's kids listening.
Timmy D, how are you this
Grant.
morning?
Timmy D, how are you doing?
Let's be.
I'm gonna be here for about a half hour. Then I gotta go. It's May. May in Indianapolis means Motor Speedway. So the Indy GP is today. Gates open at 7:30. We're running a little bit behind that clock. Practice starts at 10:30. I'm gonna miss that, but the IRL starts at 1:30, and the big boys run at I think it's 3:27. So I'll be here all day.
So Grant, you with us?
I am so.
All right, sir. Go ahead, David.
Hey, good morning, Grant. It's good to have you on the show. We hope you're doing well this morning. We've been watching your YouTube videos, and you've got some really good, pretty informative, and got a lot of humor behind your videos. What made you kind of start doing those videos? Because we definitely like them a lot.
Well, actually, it was my kids that gave me the idea. They said, "Dad, you're always driving around, seeing things. We like to see what you're doing."
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I started it. And I just thought, well, kind of neat to video some things. My kids said that would be my legacy. And that's really how it got started. And it just sort of morphed from there.
Awesome. Do you have, when you're out and about, do you have drivers recognize you from your videos?
That's the best part. Every now and then somebody will yell for me on the CB and say, "Hey, Grant." And I'll say, "Yeah." And they'll say, "Hey, I watch you on YouTube." And that was the biggest thrill ever when somebody first recognized me. And I mean, it doesn't happen all the time. You guys seen the size of my channel, but it's a lot of fun. I really enjoy it.
Awesome. Can you give us a little bit of background on how long you've been driving and just what got you into the industry?
I started about 25 years ago. A friend of mine was over at my house, and I had a sales job, and it was really going nowhere. And I like sales. And he says, "Well, why don't you just pack a bag and come with me?" And I looked at my wife, and she looked at me, and she goes, "Here we go again." And that's how I got started, and never looked back from there.
Tony B's the same way. Sales just a dead end job. There's nowhere to go.
Tim and I have been in sales for 22 years and still looking for a way out.
All right, there we go.
So tell us again how you got out.
You got any leads?
Keep staring out the window. That's what I do.
There we go. There we
So
go.
stop licking it and start
Yeah.
staring. I got it.
Yeah.
Check.
I liked your description, Grant, of I think that was your last video, maybe the video before, where you described each bug that hit the window on the windshield. I thought that was, I've never seen that before in all the truck driving videos. And you had said that it did look like maybe there was a lens missing on one of the bugs. You said was wearing glasses. the kids got to get a kick out of that one.
I interrupted him.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, that was actually, I was sitting in a rest area, and I was just getting ready to get moving again, and I just saw all these different colors here, and that's kind of how I do it. I don't really have a plan. Something strikes me funny, and I pick up my phone, and I just wing it. If I had some structure to it, I'd probably be successful in my life. But I just kind of wing it all the time.
That sounds like all of us. If we had some structure, we might be successful too. So you're listening to the Ship's Gonna Happen podcast, and we've got Grant Brown on this morning with us. So Grant, tell us about where you're at with the industry today. Do you haul something specific, or do you stay in the same regional area, or do you kind of haul everywhere?
I used to haul just about everywhere. I used to haul industrial machinery, and the market's just kind of changed so much. People spend billions of dollars on plants and everything, and then it comes down to nickel and diming at the end, trying to get it moved. So I got away from that. I got into hauling steel, and I did it for a couple of reasons. I wanted to be closer to home. Now I'm regional. I do basically Michigan, Indiana, Ohio, Ontario. That's about it. Sometimes a little further, maybe into Kentucky. And it gets me home just about every night. I live in Windsor, which is just across from here.
Love Windsor. Good. Hey, great casino for the folks out there listening. Great casino, great view. You can lose some good money, and there's a strip club only blocks away, just so we're on the same page.
Oh, we are famous for a couple of things. Our strip clubs, and you get to keep all the money at the casino.
Well, they didn't give me the second part of that. I can tell you that.
Oh, yeah. They didn't tell you that?
Well, nor did they tell me that, but they didn't allow that. I can tell you that. But I will say this. The strip club was, can I say eye-opening? Is that illegal?
There we go.
Yeah, you're not keeping your money there either.
We do have some advantages over here.
It's fully nude.
Of course, the weather.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's why I went. It was the weather and sight. You're right. The weather and the sightseeing up there. There's a college up there, right, in Windsor?
Yeah, St. Clair College, right?
Oh, I don't know where they went, but yeah, there's a couple girls that went to college right there. They said so. It was good times.
University.
They all say they're going to college.
Yeah. Right. There we go.
Even the ones that are like 45 said they're still going to college.
Cougar College.
Yes, there we go. So hey,
Tell you a
Grant.
story offline, so we're on the same page.
So Grant, while you were up there, so how bad did the border shutdown affect you as far as moving your steel back and forth when they were doing that, and when the borders were shut down?
Yeah, that was, it was a lot of that was so media driven. It was just ridiculous. It was funny because what happened when the border did close, a lot of it was the police closing it. They just didn't want anybody else interfering with it. But I know I won't get off topic too much. Fortunately, we do have a Port Huron Sarnia crossing as well, and that one was still going. So we were able to go up there, but it definitely did put a big slowdown on everything because everyone now was forced, instead of using the bigger, busier crossing, Detroit-Windsor, we had to go up to Sarnia, Port Huron, which is a couple-hour delay going out of your way. So it was a pain in the butt, that's for sure.
Yeah, there we go. And everything's relatively back to normal then, I'm assuming, with all that, or?
Literally, as soon as the blockade was officially removed by the police, which really there was nothing left at that point, it was within a day, everything was pretty much back to normal.
Grant, you weren't arrested, were you? Were you arrested, Grant? Did you participate in the shutdown?
I did not participate.
Okay, good. Yeah.
I stayed completely away from that.
Okay, yeah, smart choice.
And the reason I did is because I was working and we're under contract. And the second thing is that you go waving your face around in front of a camera, you know what's going to happen to you in the future when you try to cross the border.
Sure. Oh, yeah.
You'll have bugs hit your windshield with...
You'll have a bug like you on the windshield.
out there, I don't know.
Hey, there's me on the
I got
windshield.
to be honest with you guys. That video is really my future.
There we go. There we go. Hell yeah.
Check him out on YouTube. That's pretty good. Yeah.
That's good. So, Grant, are you seeing rates drop like we are kind of in the States? Are you seeing rates drop? They've kind of came down quite a bit considerably recently. Are you seeing that also?
Yeah. That's one of the big reasons why I left the machinery business, is because it was killing us. So when I went to Holland Steel, I did that because the company I'm with is they haul a lot of their own material, which really is a little bit of protection temporarily. So the rates are fixed, but it's the fuel now. I mean, my God, fuel prices have tripled in the last 2 years.
You don't have one of those battery powered semi trucks out there?
I've been looking for one, but I just can't seem to find one. No, it's good old chugging on diesel.
Oh, the old diesel five. What is the gas prices up there? We got to be somewhere around $5.55, $5.65 Canadian money. That's gonna be $7.25.
It's probably more, yeah.
Yeah, somewhere around there. We're probably about $8, maybe almost $9 a gallon up here.
Wow.
It's but a lot of, if you're with a major carrier, like the small carriers are really taking a beating, but the larger carriers have a fuel surcharge. It helps a lot. If it wasn't for the fuel surcharge, everybody'd be losing their trucks.
Yeah.
But like you said, getting back to the rates fluctuate. It's funny because if there's something that needs to be moved on a Friday night, it's amazing what they'll pay to have it done, or Saturday. But if they want it done Monday, yeah, it's just open for tender. This whole big thing about there's a shortage of trucks is just that is big trucking company driven, as far as I'm concerned. Because when the rates are good, that means there's a shortage of trucks. When the rates are bad, it's because there's too many trucks.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense, I guess.
It does. That's just how it works.
Okay, so do you haul consistently? Do you have like consistent moves, or are you always looking for, are you always looking for the next move? I mean, do you have consistent moves, or how does that work for you?
Yeah, well, right now, we have a lot of customers that, have a pretty steady demand supplying stuff for the automotive. Ironically, one of our biggest customers that we supply steel to is Tesla. So maybe we're going to get the first battery operated trucks.
Well, there we go.
Yeah.
I'm not far off, am I? Huh? I'm not as dumb as I sound on the microphone.
And you do sound pretty dumb.
It's because I am pretty dumb, but that has nothing to do with how I sound.
Yeah. It is. It sounds like the future, right? Whether we like it or not.
Wait, did Matty Ice just take a dig at me? Is that
He
what I
did.
heard?
Well,
Just a little
deservedly
one.
so.
Man,
I
took
wasn't
a-
saying anything anybody else wasn't thinking.
Matt took an uppercut. It was an uppercut.
Are you
Awesome.
guys driving all Priuses? You guys sound like you might be Prius drivers.
Oh, wow.
Thank you.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
On
Well,
Tuesdays only.
What's that
Tuesdays.
small? I'm a smart car guy.
Yeah, there we go.
I got a tiny little smart.
Smarter guy.
Yeah.
Have you
Yeah.
seen those smart cars on the RV that they tuck underneath the belly of the RV?
No.
Yeah, they can tuck a smart. Now there's a car called Smart Car, and it
Yeah.
fits underneath an RV.
It does.
like in the storage,
Wow.
and it comes out on an automatic, whatever you would call that, button. Right.
Lowers it down.
Yep. Puts it out and lowers it down.
Yeah,
Matt, go ahead, Grant.
Them, right? They're such a small vehicle. I was last summer. I was driving along, and this guy's just poking along in his smart car, and there was something weird about what was in the back of his car because I guess they're a little mini hatchback.
Yeah.
And I start getting up on him because he's just poking along, doing like 55 on the interstate.
That's all they can go, Grant. That's all
in
they
the
can
back,
go.
yeah,
Don't judge them.
Have you seen those real large propane cylinders? Like not the ones for your barbecue, but
Like
Yeah.
a 40
the ones that
pounder.
you would use to, like heat your trailer.
Yeah.
He had two of those in the back of his smart car with the window like just kind of tied down against him, and I thought, wow, I just don't think that that's the proper vehicle to be moving that stuff.
No.
Right. Yes.
Did you ever
right.
think that was his gasoline going straight into the engine to get that thing running?
Maybe he's running on
propane
propane.
injection.
Yeah.
I'm surprised he
Fast
didn't
and
end up.
Furious.
Smart car.
No. No. He dumbed it down.
I'm surprised he didn't end up on your windshield.
Well, they had been a different flavor altogether.
So, Grant, Grant, if you don't mind, tell us a little bit about yourself. Did you grow up close to Ontario, and give us a little bit about your history?
Originally from Toronto. I grew up kind of between a farm and the city, so I got kind of a little bit of work ethic and try to get away from it. And then I went to Coconut College, and then basically tried some sales jobs. I did sound and lighting for a long time, and traveled a bit doing that. And then when I met my wife and our children came along, I had to get a real job, so I became a truck driver.
There we go. Yep. Makes sense. Makes sense. So are you a Leafs fan, or are you are you into basketball? Are you a Raptors fan or anything? Or
I'm just not a basketball fan at all, but I am definitely a Toronto Maple Leaf fan.
Going down tonight.
It's going to be the year. Oh, I know.
The bolts are coming for that
we're hoping
ass,
for the
just so
best.
we're on the same page.
Since when did you become a big fan of Tampa Bay?
I went to I'm not a big fan, but I mean, I won the last 2 Stanley Cups, let's be honest.
They did.
And they've dominated in those 2 years.
True.
They had a big hiccup and an 8-game slide at the end of this year. And I went to a game back in late 2020 when I went to the Bucks Colts game. I went to a Bolts game with a buddy I was in the Marine Corps with, and we sat 14 rows up behind the glass, behind the goal, and man, they served like 32-ounce beers. And
nice. All right.
Oh, that's why you're.
Yeah.
so I don't even know who they played, but they dominated them. I think it was 7-1 or something. It was just absolutely. And it's 7-1 for you folks that don't watch any hockey. You need to get your life together first off. But second off, 7-1 in an NHL game is huge. Now the playoffs have all been high scoring. This is the highest scoring year there is. But that's how I became one because, well, I'm a Hawks fan and I'm a Penguins fan to start with. So, but you go to a game and you're just like, yeah, I'm all in. I'm all in.
Yeah.
All in.
Cool. So you're
Definitely a lot of fun watching a hockey game.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay has won a couple of cups, and I believe Toronto did back in the 1800s. So
So we're on the same page. I lost, I think it was $1,200 when Golden State played the Raptors in the NBA. No Canada team's ever won basically anything in 100 years. I hate to say that, but it's true. And I bet $1,200. Go ahead.
Yeah, Canada's the Raptors have been our big hope because it's just basketball. I just never really got into basketball. It's baseball and hockey for me all the way,
Nice.
and of course racing. I mean,
You did have the
you're
Blue
into trucks,
Jays.
you're into racing.
The Blue Jays
That's
did
true.
win back-to-back world titles in the early 90s, so yeah.
that
Roger
was
Clemens.
sensational too.
And then
Actually,
I
that
do
was
remember
before
that,
Clemens.
actually. I'm old enough to remember that.
Oh, nice.
And I lived in Toronto at the time too, so
Who-
that was quite. We're hoping to see that happen again tonight when we beat Tampa Bay.
who played first base
You got to be.
back then?
Yeah,
Olerud.
you have to have a good attitude when you're a Leafs fan. It's almost like being a Detroit Lions fan.
Yeah. Then I can.
There we go.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Oh, the Lions.
Man,
the poor
makes
damn
sense.
Lions play every Thanksgiving, and they haven't won the first 10 games before Thanksgiving.
Right.
So
Yeah.
Grant, what is your favorite thing about trucking?
My favorite thing about trucking,
Yeah.
man, I loved it right off the bat. I'm a guy that likes to go for a drive when I get home from work. I mean, I love to drive. I love going and seeing small town America and small town Canada. You get me off the interstates and on the 2-lane roads, and I'm just happy. I just like going and seeing things. I'm just basically a paid tourist, and that's really what I love about it.
I like that. I like that assessment.
Yeah, I
A
do.
paid tourist. That's nice. So Grant, next time you're down around the Indianapolis area, it'd be awesome if you could give us a shout out or something. Let us know that you're in the area. We'd like to definitely meet up with you, buy you a cup of coffee or something, and at least put a face to
I
a
would like
name
that.
and shake your hands. Yeah,
I do get down that way from time to time.
it'd be awesome.
Yeah, hit us up.
So cool.
Well, let's get in our topic. Grant,
Yeah,
you want
let's-
to join us for the topic?
You got to stick around for the topics, Grant?
Sure.
Okay, yeah,
Awesome.
we'll go through them here. Okay, we'll get into topic number 1 here. All right, the economy getting a little sluggish out there, right? So there was a negative growth rate, right, in the economy, negative 1.4%, right?
I believe it.
First time that's happened in a long time. And when I was researching this, something interesting popped up. It's on a bar graph here. My printer was out of black ink. But long story short, I didn't know this. This was the longest growth run that our economy's had in history.
Wow.
It just
wow.
ended.
Okay.
So that 1.4 ended it. It's 128 months in a row our economy grew since 09. So
I was
09
going to say 09.
Yeah, I was going to say 10 years.
09. So then what's funny when you look at this graph is you can pretty much predict like what happened. So you have like 1945 to 48, it grew for 36 months.
Yeah,
And
World
then-
War II.
Right.
Coming out of that.
And then you
Yep.
have 49 to 53, it grew.
Korea.
Yep. And that's exactly what I started thinking.
Matty Ice with the history.
So then you get in. So then you get into like. So then the 08 economy recession, right? 91 to 01, 9/11,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
These are all like some big event happens, right? So,
Well, 91 would have been first.
or not
Saudi.
Saudi, the Iraq War. That
Yeah.
Tim and I were in that.
What happened in '84? Because I'm just curious. Outside the greatest thing ever to be introduced to the
no.
world.
We had the
No,
Olympics
no.
in LA.
Well, it grew.
True.
82 to 90 was 93 months. That was the third longest
I was going
growth.
through puberty in
history.
'84, probably.
Dave was
I'm
listening to
working
that
on puberty
good.
now.
Dave
Reagan
was
was
listening to that good
reelected.
music
Yeah,
back then.
there we
right?
go. Yeah.
Go ahead and jump. That was the big song then, right?
It was.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very
Van
good.
Halen.
So
Jump,
you're,
Van Halen.
so you're
Van
better
Halen.
than you
David
think
Lee
you
Roth.
are.
David
Played
Lee
that
Roth.
last night.
Yes.
What's
Yeah.
up?
I said we played that last night.
Jump.
That actually was number one when old Timmy D was born.
1984.
Tim was
Yeah.
born in 84.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
I know.
He's
You
young,
guys
man.
are really old.
Right. So we took music from the year we were.
Fox older than that.
There we go.
Grant chiming in from
Sure.
Canada.
You have bug splatters on your windshield older than that, Grant. It's probably what you have. So what we did is we took songs from the year we were born, songs of the year for graduated high school, and songs from the year that we got married, and we brought those to the bar yesterday and played them, with all of us trying to guess the name of the artist and the song, and then also the years that we were talking about. It was a lot of fun. And there was some, like Matty Ice says, there's some bad music. That was
music,
bad
yeah.
music, especially 88. That was terrible.
No, that was great because Matty Ice had nothing. Now back to the economy. What do we got?
Well, just so that's a big indicator that we're going to see a little turbulence, I think, in the economy. They don't think it's going to head into a recession until the end of the year, but we also have a big House and Senate election year in the U.S., right, Grant? We have It's going to add a little bit to that, and but it's just interesting that I guess when looking at this graph, there's been a big event that stops it every time, and it doesn't seem like I'm just this is so.
You going conspiracy theory?
Well, just lay it on us. Let's hear it.
Well, this article, which I looked up other ones, and I mean, there's a lot of truth to this article. But this article kind of says that Ukraine's adding to it, and it's like I don't know why. Right. But I don't know how they're affecting gas prices.
Well, no, it's not. It's the sanctions.
Well, this is
61% of the world's. Never mind. All right. Never mind.
Yeah. So the thing I'm saying though is that so because it's so stupid. So according to your graph here, what Ukraine was as big as COVID.
So you're saying that there was are you talking more about what's going to take us out of?
Well, they're saying that
it's going to turn us the other way.
Well, yeah, they're saying this is all added into the problem with it, and I just don't. I mean, it's like
I think it's going to be the show that takes us out of the recession. This show is going to explode. It's going to carry everything with it.
Yeah. So I don't know. It just talks a little bit about that. It ended. So we're going into another phase. It was 128 months in a row. The first 3 months of 2022 have been slow, the slowest. So, which is the slowest first quarter. So anyways, it just looks like it's going to get rough. But David's got the topic of fuel prices, which we're seeing that go, the way it's going. So
Grant, do you see it as it slowed down a little? I know you said you have consistent runs and you work for a company that kind of does the same runs every day, but I mean, you said you haul steel now, right? So steel itself. How are your runs been? Are they consistent, or do you see that your loads are lighter, as in not as much steel on there because they're not producing them? I mean, what do you feel, what you're seeing as the real truck driver on the streets every single day? Is your runs lighter? Are they heavier? Are you cramming more time in to get more steel moved and pulled? I mean, what are you seeing?
It's really sporadic. Like when you guys are talking about the economy, like COVID just tanked everything and nothing was being produced. And then when we all came back online, so to speak, nothing was made. You guys, the microchip thing, the automotive, I think it's really suffered. The steel industry, as far as truck drivers are concerned, from my point of view, we were very slow. Fortunately, we managed to still have some things are still being made, but when everyone's not working, and now it's so slow to recover. No one wants to go to work. Everywhere you go, we're help wanted. And people stop buying big ticket items, right? And now the demand's coming back on. So it really is sporadic for us. Right now, even now, it's still a little sluggish. We'll be busy one week where we can't seem to get everything done. And then the next week, we're not scrambling for work, but the extras aren't there, if you want to kind of hustle and get another load in. It just seems like I think we're on another big boom again. So, well, maybe boom isn't the right word, but I think once everybody gets back to work and production starts ramping up and the microchip thing is solved, I think our economy is going to be full steam ahead.
I hope so.
Good analysis. That's a good analysis.
What do you see, Matty? What's your crystal ball say?
Well, I would question on, I think steel, and I'm not sure if you're hauling exactly for that, but correct me if I'm wrong, Grant, but I think steel production is a good indicator of construction. Mm-hmm. And if we see construction start going down, then obviously those steel isn't going to be produced as much. So curious to see how that works from the construction side.
Yeah, and I heard an interview a couple of weeks ago, but the CEO of Ellis Don, which is an international company, they are actually a Canadian-based company, and they're an industrial developer. And he said that one of the big, everything's sort of kind of all come together at the same time with the economy, with COVID, and with the lack of skilled trades. He said this is going to take a couple of years for especially the construction market to really pick up, because the tradesmen are dwindling off. They knew this was coming, but everyone was, you need to go to university, you need to get into IT or whatever, and now no one wants to do those jobs. So now they're recruiting heavily. My son's a millwright apprentice. They're recruiting very heavily, but it's going to take 2 or 3, 5 years to get all these people back up to the skill level they need to be. So the demand's there, but we don't have the skilled trades. Like, try and do a renovation in your house right now and find a contractor,
Tony just tried, it took months.
We're in all these things have hit us at the same time. And from my point of view, it's we do a lot more for the automotive. We haul process steel, which goes to the plants for stamping plants and that sort of thing. We don't do a lot of structural steel, but the automotive stuff is moving quite well right now.
So would you encourage your kids to get into a trade like that over a 4-year college, as in it would not necessarily maybe a truck driver, which I encourage everyone out there to investigate about being a truck driver, but into just straight trade, just a trade school? Would you suggest that for the route of these early teenagers nowadays, or would you 4-year college?
100% trades, and the reason for that is you
can
come out and especially in the union trades, fantastic pensions, great benefits, good health coverage, and I mean, you're a tradesman, like a millwright or an iron worker, or I don't know about cooling and heating, but I know like the construction trades, and these guys make $40 an hour and they get double time after 8.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can go to. I'm certainly not saying we don't need people going to college, but we have everyone going to college because no one wants to get their hands dirty anymore. Mm-hmm. You can't if there's nobody building things, you got no office to sit in. And I am a firm believer that the trades are just a great career, especially for people who maybe aren't that savvy and want to sit. I could not sit in front of a desk for any more than an hour, and I'm staring out the window again. It's just not for me. And the trades, I think, are the way to go, 100%.
Yeah,
the security of it.
I think that's the problem. The last 20 years, everyone has been down their throat is 4-year college, 4-year college.
I think it's even longer than that. I think it's been.
I think it's longer than 20 years.
Oh yeah, I think
30 years.
I think going back to the 80s. Mm-hmm. I mean, I can remember when I was in high school. I mean, that's all anybody told you is, if you're going to be anything in life, you had to go to college. Period.
Mm-hmm. And the funny thing is once you finish school and you get into your whatever job it is you're doing, now, okay, you don't have any job protection, you don't have any overtime pay. You're working salary at someone's beck and call. You're working Saturdays. And then when it's all over, they can get rid of you, and you work there 20 years, and there's no pension for you for your retirement, right? If you haven't put money away. And let's be honest, how many of us are putting away enough money for the retirement on their own?
Yeah, not very many. Not to mention you could be in huge debt from that college as well.
Sure. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
more than a whole.
You guys, Canada subsidizes their education, but in the U.S., God, I can't imagine having to put my kids through university.
But that's the thing, though. But how do you sell? We've talked about this many times on this show, and maybe Grant, you can give me some insight. Maybe give the listeners some tips here. But how do you tell a 22, 23-year-old person, hey, you need bennies. You got to have benefits. You need your retirement plan at 22, 23 years old. They're invincible. They want the money on the hour. That's all they care about is today's value. They're not looking in 40 years. So how do you sell that to the 22-year-old?
It's funny. I have a 23-year-old that I try to tell that to all the time. Fortunately, he did see the light, and he got towards the millwright hall. And but my son, he actually went to a college course, which was really perfect for him because he had no idea what he wanted to do. So we took an industrial contractor, whatever, a millwright kind of training program. And it really wasn't anything that was going to help him anywhere, but it gave him an idea. There was a bit of welding, there was a bit of robotics, there was a bit of just blueprints and that. It gave him an idea to say, yeah, this is something I'm interested in. And I think those courses are fantastic, certificate courses, to give someone some insight into what they want to do. But when you got a kid that's 23 years old and all he's thinking about is, riding his dirt bike and chasing girls, you're not, you're going to the bar, you're not thinking about that. I mean, I know I didn't. I mean, just the other day.
Hey, honey, I got a 401k. You want to see me?
I still like all those things at 49 years old.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and of course now, because of the housing prices and the way things are now, your children are going to be living with you forever anyway. So
Well,
the flip they are.
just keep the
that.
insurance on them till they're 40. I mean,
Was it America's 26 now? I think.
yeah,
It
it's
is
26.
Yeah.
So if I Blue Cross Blue Shield, boy, we got to have a discussion. You're not staying on my insurance.
We
until you're
told the daughter
26.
last night she's got 1 year left.
When I was growing up, it was 18.
Huh?
1 year.
Was it
and you're on
18
your-
with you?
Yeah, it was 18.
It was
when I a
18
kid.
when we were growing up. You were off your parents' insurance at 18.
Right.
So
yeah, 18. But the part I can't understand is that there are people are talking about, like, our unemployment rate came out and it was 5.6%. And I said, how can the employment rate be 5.6? COVID is supposed to be over.
Right.
But everywhere you go, it doesn't matter. Fast food, basic, low-level jobs for industry, union jobs. It doesn't matter what the industry is. Good government jobs, good luck getting people. They are crying for people. What are these people doing? Are they sitting in our basements?
That's a
playing
good
video
question.
games? I mean,
No, that's
is
Joe
going
Biden.
to work.
Grant, it reminds me of like the 70s, right? Where America's production was still good, manufacturing was still somewhat good, but in the 70s, I wasn't hiring back then and was young, but I remember the 70s kind of being a decade of hard to find employment, right? And it would seem like there was people talk about, somebody might come in and work half a day and then leave in the 70s, right? And then people are drinking and the workforce was just different in the 70s, right? So I'm wondering if that's what we're seeing. It's just this workforce is not, I don't know, man. I mean, we can continue to hire all year long, I think, and still not fill the roles we need where I work. So what's it like where you work, David?
So in my 30 plus years of adult employment, it has always been this way. This is nothing new. I mean, it's a revolving door every day of people that come in and don't want to work or get a better offer with somebody else down the road. This isn't something that's brand new. This has always been going on. And I don't know what it takes to fix it. I think, we talked about a lot about people getting into the trades and stuff. I think in high school, it'd be nice if they could encourage that, here's what it's going to take for you to survive when you get out. You need a job that's going to pay you this. So, and you have to have it and benefits and, you got to eat and pay rent, and instead of learning pi r squared divided by the circumference of a obtuse triangle.
Reality.
Shit, excuse my language, but yeah, I mean, they need a course in reality. So, and keep your ass at work every day. Show up.
Take your oatmeal of reality and shut up.
Yeah, maybe that's our problem. We create too much of a comfort world for these kids that because you think
That's
about
exactly right.
the generations before us, right? They're out working every day in the fields and till they're 40.
I think the person I'd be scared of the most if I was 18 and kind of hummed my way through a job would be my parents. My parents would have stuck their foot up my ass and immediately and said, "Get out there and work." I don't think there is any of that anymore. So
it's codifying.
True that.
And we are to blame for that. I guess.
No, amen. You're right.
I've talked about that.
True that.
And you want it to be better. You don't want to have to. You want it to make it better. Let them use a car. Maybe get them insurance so they can drive. And you take away some of that drive for them to go after things, and you make them complacent. And my dad has said to me, "Don't do that." And then now I'm turning into my dad. Don't do that.
Oh yeah, sure.
It really is. We made it too comfortable. We made it too easy. And for example, I know go off topic, but a friend of mine runs a mechanic shop, and he said it's so hard to get people 5 years ago, or 10 years ago rather, I would have had an apprentice and he didn't show up and he was lazy. I would have just kicked his ass out, and I would have had another guy in there that was eager to work in 5 minutes. Now I get guys that come in, kind of saunter in, walk in with their shoes untied, and they haven't called in sick, and they show up 2 days later as if it's completely okay that I just didn't bother to come into work, and show up as if nothing happened. It's just, I don't know how that we got here like this.
Yeah.
And that's,
because
like you said, like you guys just said, our parents would have put your foot up your ass and wouldn't put up with it. But now you're babying them and paying them, like increasing the minimum wage, ridiculous amounts of money. And well, that's another issue.
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, yeah, go ahead and feel free to say whatever you want to. Don't hold back. I mean, it's just really, it's very frustrating. And to your point, Grant, you do drive by all these business parks and restaurants and fast food places, and the now hiring sign is always up. But again, to me, this is a 30+ year problem, not something that's new. So
yeah,
I don't know what it's going to take to remedy it.
Well, you would see it more than we would because you're in the
right,
the buying side of the shipping world. So I'm still trying to.
Yeah, I think what you're kind of talking about, and I have a graph here in front of me, and you guys probably have seen this before, but it basically says hard times produce strong men, and strong men produce good times, and good times produce weak men. And then weak men create hard times. And it's just a circle of, if you think back to like, the 30s with the Depression.
Oh, yeah, right.
Those hard times created strong men, strong people. And out of that is born good times. As you came out of World War II and you're in the 50s and you got good times. And then, you get a couple of generations of, your hope is that you're going to create a world that's better for your kids. But the bad side to that is that after a few generations of making things better and better and better, which is what you hope as a parent, kind of in a way, you're making society weaker in a way. In that, because now they're just not, no one's, has those battle scars. No one knows what it takes. And so you get to the point where now you've got a whole society that's just weak. And then unfortunately, somewhere probably down the road, we're going to have one of these other catastrophic economical events, and the government's not going to be there to bail people out.
No.
And you're going to have one of these depressions at some point. And, hopefully out of that ash, we'll come back up on the other side, and you're probably going to have those people with strong values and strong work ethic that's going to come out of that. But you hate the fact that you feel like we have to go through something so bad to get to where we want the society. But it almost just feels like it's just going to rotate that way.
Yeah, it's a good point.
Like we're doomed to repeat ourselves in history
Constantly.
All the time.
You ready to get into topic 2, David?
Let's do it, baby.
All right, here we go. Topic 2. Let me get David's stuff. There, David B. on topic 2. Oh, so
soothing.
Lovely. Hi, David B.
The music's going to be better than my topic because I didn't do my homework very well because I waited until like 2 minutes before the show to kind of read over for what I wanted to talk about instead of doing it last night. Yeah. But somebody got too drunk. So
I got yelled at last night too.
It happens.
It does happen. It was anyway.
It was worth it.
It was really worth it. It was a good time. So reading over I'm always intrigued why gas prices are the way they are, and I just don't ever feel like we get the right answer or get a straight answer out of exactly the reason why. So one of the articles I read 2 minutes before we started the show was about the real reason why gas prices are the way they are is they closed a lot of refineries during the pandemic, when they shut down X amount of refineries, and they haven't really started very many of them, or if any of them, back up yet. There was a gentleman from Phillips 66 that says that it was going to cost $1 billion to restart one of the refineries. And I'm not so sure I'm sympathetic to that because I don't give a shit. You're a $1 billion a year company profit wise anyway, spend that $1 billion and start the freaking refinery back up, you know, to try to help alleviate some of this where we're at. No, you're right, Grant. You're exactly right. It says in the article that they don't have any plans on doing it based solely just on the cost. And then the dates, you know, how dated some of those refineries are. It costs too much to put money back into them and stuff. But, you know, I kind of like to see it happen, but I just don't think it's going to happen. So that's the real reason that fuel prices are kind of the way they are. That's
100% accurate.
Yeah.
Shell, just as reading them, Shell has had their highest profits in this quarter that they've ever had in the history of the organization.
Wow.
And really, purely from economic point of view, why would they increase production? If they increase production, like I said, it's going to cost $1 billion for them to ramp things up to make the same amount of money.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Right now, they don't have the labor, they don't have the production costs. They're making record profits. They're sitting back and keeping the demand very high by not starting the refinery. It's just I understand their point because they're making record profits because they don't have to put any money out, and people will pay it because they need it. And our governments also, I believe, are part of the blame because it's a sliding scale on the taxes, especially over here in Canada. It's a sliding scale, right? So how much revenue they can collect from the tax.
Right.
And then, of course, you see every time there's an excuse. Oh, there was a thunderstorm, so we had to close down a refinery, and the demand's gone up three more cents. Or carbon taxes, or these bloody carbon taxes are killing us.
Yeah, and I feel like they look for any excuse around the world, any excuse
to raise them.
The demand is the same every day.
Yeah,
it doesn't change. It's a fixed cost on how much. Everybody knows how people go to the same place. There's a small variance, but we all go back and forth to work. We all know how much money roughly a week we put in for gas. Even me, like right now, I'm anywhere between $2,000 and $3,000 a week in diesel.
Oh, Jesus!
Every week, and I don't go that far. Wow. I just haul heavy though, so I only get 4.5 miles to the gallon.
So Grant, you're spending over $100,000 a year in fuel
every year.
Oh, Jesus!
Yeah. I'm an owner operator. I own the truck. They own the trailer. But
sure.
But the good thing is that fuel, and this is fuel surcharges. Right now, our fuel surcharge is 51 cents on every gross dollar. So if I make $1, I get 51 cents, roughly, depending on the customer, in a fuel surcharge.
Holy cow!
So that really does help cover the cost. But who's paying for that?
Sure,
the end user's going to pay for that.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's a vicious circle of, and again, our governments now are pushing so much on the electric vehicles going to be the savior of the world that again, why would any oil company say, well, we're going to help save things and lower fuel costs by increasing production, but then it's going to cost us more money. We're going to make less money. We'll just sit back and let this go as long as we possibly can.
Yeah. And it's also,
are they going to start production? Why would they? I get it, and it's not going to change. And in fact, I think fuel prices are going to continue to go up.
Yeah. And it's humorous, people think, well, it's electric. Well, where do you think you get electricity from?
It's a lot of power and
you
gas.
Get it from coal.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's where you're mainly getting it. So people are like, want to get away from fossil fuels. Well, to get your electricity, it's coming from fossil fuels. So I don't understand the argument.
Yeah. The auto companies are mandating 2025 with electric vehicles. And of course, the emission standards on trucks have made it almost impossible to survive without ridiculous breakdowns. So, and the Biden government is again going to impose new environmental standards, again, even more stringent on trucks, which again is going to choke everything down again.
Yep.
We have to kind of open our eyes a little bit. We all know that the electric car is a great idea. I love electric cars. I've been in them. They're fantastic. But we don't have any infrastructure to support this at all. If even 4 people out of 10 plugged in their electric car every day, our grid would be at overcapacity. And that's not including heat waves and power spikes. So until we it's a great idea for the future, but we can't just pat everybody on the back and say, this is going to be great. There's no plan.
Yep.
It's a great idea, but there's no plan. How many electric trucks are going to be around, like a garbage truck. A PTO, they said they did some studies with garbage trucks, and they figured that the garbage truck could only run for 3 hours at the maximum capacity.
Mm-hmm.
Or not how much garbage.
Yeah,
it's going to be a lot of trucks then.
Yeah, exactly.
It's being presented like it's going to be fantastic, but it's just not going to happen.
No.
And until people really are able to see the reality of this, and our governments and people stop giving this a green light, so to speak, if I'm driving an electric car in 2025, I'll be very surprised.
Yeah.
Grant, and you're listening to the Ship's Gonna Happen podcast, episode 64, Tony B, David B, and Matt G. Timmy D has left the studio, had a prior engagement, but what you were just saying, I pulled up something interesting because I learned this a while back. The first electric automobile was invented in 1832. So our progress in the battery operated field has been very bad, right? So 1832, Robert Anderson developed the first crude electric vehicle, but it wasn't until 1870s that they actually produced some electric cars. And they had them in the big cities. And then
a lot of it's got to do with the battery. I mean, we just don't have the technology with the batteries.
Right.
That you have to have.
I think you're
and
right.
And then like Grant said, the infrastructure.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. I mean, when you get in a car and you're going on vacation, you don't even think about, how far I'm going, where I'm going. You just know you're going to pass a gas station and you're going to pull over and get gas.
Back when we were kids, our parents may have thought, well, I'll hit this gas station. But as our generation came, it was like not even worried about it.
Every exit, every corner,
good point.
So with, electric car, I mean, I know Tesla, for example, if you get in their car and this is smart of them, right? That it will show you if you punch in a route where you can stop to get recharged, which is pretty cool. But you would absolutely have to have that information, or you're setting yourself up to run out of energy on the side of the road.
Here's my question though about the electric thing, and I don't know the answer to this. I probably should research it more and find out, but I'll throw it out there to you guys. Is apparently our government can send drones up and go coast to coast. Mm-hmm. They're not refueling those things. How are they doing that? Is there is there an alternator on this thing that
I don't know.
Regenerates itself?
I don't know how.
I mean, they're sending drones. There's drones constantly flying.
I wonder if it may have something to do with their weight. They may also be able to
solar.
Well, I don't know. Or maybe they might be able to just kind of glide a lot of that. I have no idea.
I mean,
is your drone battery powered that you have?
I have a drone. Yeah, it's battery powered. It lasts about a half hour.
Okay.
Yeah, but I would imagine battery's gonna run out, right? At some point. Mm-hmm. I mean, some of these are going from coast to coast, man.
Right.
I mean,
and then batteries only last so long too.
A couple hours.
No, but I mean, after they run out, they start to lose their ability to.
I just wonder. So like a solar powered house.
And I think you
recharges
can do that,
itself, right?
Yeah.
So maybe they're solar powered to an extent that it regenerates. So why can't they do it to a damn car? Why can't I just have a panel on my hood?
I did see some one time where they were saying they made a road. A road was basically solar.
Was that Utah?
I don't know
somewhere
where it was
in Idaho.
But
Utah?
the problem that you run into, and I think not to get like on this big piece on environmentalists and what they're.
You're a go green guy, I know.
Yeah. So, I'm not against it. I'm not for it. I just know that at the end of the day, in a capitalist society, once it becomes it will come at some point. If enough people want it and it can be done cost efficiently.
That's a good point,
it's going to happen.
Market take care of itself.
And the idea that we need to be trying to push it, to cost people more money and, make it a hindrance on people. Like we talked about not having the, being able to even handle 4 out of 10 cars. It's going to come. I think we all agree it's going to come.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure to say that considering nothing on this earth happens within like 10,000 years. Mm-hmm. I think we'll get there before we're all dead.
Yeah. Well, speaking of that, I'm going to pull something up here, and Grant, if you've got a little something on this, I'll play it here. It's called "Who Killed the Electric Car." Have you guys ever seen that documentary?
No.
I think maybe.
Oh my gosh, you need to see it.
A new film claims
I
that
have
US
seen-
car companies
Have
I
you
don't
seen
know
it?
that- I don't know how familiar. I'm just trying to remember. I know I've talked about it with another friend of mine, and well, Big Oil has something to do with that, I believe. But I'll be quiet and let you play that.
Yeah. Here it is.
Comment.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So
Fast, produced no exhaust, and ran without gasoline.
electric cars. They were good for the environment and, looking back, easy on your fuel budget. So where did they go?
Ladies and gentlemen, that's the sound of a crushed automobile.
they crushed all the electric cars. So the old oh gosh, what was the car? It was originally designed as the Evo. And it was a Evolution car. It was they brought them out in California. This was in the, I think, late 90s, mid 90s.
The blue car? Is this something like that?
Yeah, it was oh gosh, I forgot the name of but this car actually became a GM car. They took the batteries out and made it. It was a very popular car. I forgot what the name of it was. But anyways, Saturn. It was the Saturn car was originally going to be electric.
Oh, really?
So they made a bunch of them. They gave them to rich Hollywood type people, and these people loved them. So what they found out was, like you alluded to, or was it Grant that alluded to, the oil industry. So what happened was, it's a great documentary. It's called "Who Killed the Electric Car." Martin Sheen narrates it. Thank you, David. And essentially, they go out and they buy these electric cars, and they actually leased them. You could only lease them. You couldn't buy them. And then GM had the right to take them back at any time. And then there were some really you might see some of them on the road still. Maybe it was early 90s they did this. Anyways, they were so good that basically it would kill the oil change places. It would kill, that's a lot of oil, right? Going into those places. It would kill that. It would kill tires because the tires wore down less. I don't know why. Brake pads wore down less. Just all the things that we go on and gets inspected on a car, you don't need to do on the electric car. And
I mean, the braking's all done dynamically, right?
Right.
You don't even need brake pads anymore.
Exactly.
And then as the car is braking, it's actually regenerating electricity back into the batteries.
Yeah. So it was such a success that they basically went in and collected all the cars, and these people were screaming mad. They loved their car. They wanted their car. There's one of the girls that is in the documentary was on Baywatch. It wasn't Pamela Anderson. It was another lady, but she was on and there's a couple actors that you would recognize in the documentary. So basically they go and they ask a lot of people, and the CIA says that former CIA agent says that if they were to continue the electric car, it would kill the entire oil industry. And then the price of stuff would go, because everything inside the car is made of oil, plastic, right? Pretty much. So it would drive the cost so high that people couldn't afford the electric car. So they collect them all, and then they destroyed them and didn't want any single one remaining. So I think our country can perfect the battery car. My question is, I just don't think they want to, right? They kind of, hey, if you're paying high gas prices and high taxes on that gas, who's making that money?
Yeah.
Well, it's so short-sighted too, because the oil industry is never going to go away. You can't, like cosmetics, food,
cosmetics, is a big one.
Production of plastics. Everything is so dependent on oil at this point, or edible oil products. So we got all this stuff going on, and in the 80s, like you're talking about, 84, I think GM made like a Riviera or something.
Yeah,
like that.
Riviera.
Battery power was fantastic. It was a great car. 300. I think it did the 300 mile. The only problem is at that time battery limit was so limited because we weren't into lithium ion then. So the batteries were lead acid batteries, and the car actually had very little interior room because you were sitting on these giant batteries, right?
Mm-hmm.
But this is what I can't understand. If the oil companies are worried about battery technology and the electric car coming, are they just assuming now that they're going to soak as much out of us in the next 10 years as they can by limiting production and having $10, $10 a gallon fuel prices? Or are they, you would think they would be keeping fuel prices down so that the consumer market would say, you know what, I'm really happy with my car. I get 35 miles to the gallon. It's $40 a week.
Right.
Now we're $100 a week. So people are starting to say, maybe I really need to look at the electric car as an option, especially for commuters.
And it seems like
makes sense to me. So is it greed? Is it market driven? What's the background? Are the oil companies already involved in this? I mean, you would think that they would be. They have to be because they're the ones with all the money. So they're going to control the battery industry. I have no doubt. So what's our future? Like it's so muddled right now. No one really knows. But I think the technology's there. Elon Musk himself said that even at current production levels right now, we're having a difficult time with the technology that we have now keeping up. We'll never be able to keep up with the demand. It's a very invasive mining process. And new battery, of course, with the demand will increase. What's the word I'm trying to think of now? New technologies will become available for batteries. So, I mean, it is the future, but it's so weird right now. Like, oh yeah, Windsor just got, LG is a battery manufacturing plant. So there's talks of that's going to be a big battery plant. But then, of course, there's another plant within LG that has to kind of run with it. And the government cannot guarantee the power will be online by 2025 when they want to open. So it may not happen. So, yeah, the name of the company is Stellantis.
Huh.
Oh, sorry, that's another one. My wife's just showing me another one. Stellantis announces a $3.6 billion investment in Windsor Brampton plants. So, all for electric cars. I think it's coming, which is great. And if you've ever been in an electric car, you will change your mind. That guy, nothing sounds better than a big lumpy cam V8. But you get in one of those little Teslas, and my buddy pulled out into traffic, and it threw me back against the seat, and I was like, wow.
Yeah.
And a very cool, refined car. Awesome. Interesting to be in. And they've been all over the United States and Canada in their Tesla, and they have no problems at all right now. What's going to happen with the charging stations in the future? Because it's a minimum of 15 minutes for a rapid charge, right?
Sure.
Right now, you stop, you get a tea, you have a pee, you're all good. What about when everybody needs to get, needs to top up? Can you imagine what that's going to be like, where everybody has to spend 15 minutes getting a charge? We have some. It has a lot to grow here, that's for sure.
So, Green, are you seeing very many autonomous trucks out on the road? We talk about that on this show quite a bit.
I drive them off the road every chance I can.
So you're the
one. Awesome.
I have never seen one yet. I think it's coming. I try not to be too. I don't know. I think it's going to come because big companies are going to push for it. Because if you can eliminate the driver, you eliminate hours of service rules. The truck can run nonstop. No one calls in sick. There's no benefits, and there's nobody saying I don't want to go there. Right. But until we can be sure that we're not going to run over Karen and her Volvo, that's going to be the issue, right?
Yep. No doubt.
Yep, for sure.
Karen and her Volvo.
Self-driving cars are coming a long way.
Yeah.
But, like I rented a Toyota Corolla last year when I was out in California, and I was zipping along the interstate, and it was the first time I'd ever driven a car that had, I don't even know the term, capability, that the cruise control where it would maintain the distance and lane so, you know, the steering wheel started buzzing. I didn't know what the hell was going on. And then I was zipping along pretty good in the middle lane, and I came up to a truck as I was overtaking him, and the car slammed on the brakes, just about put me through the friggin' windshield. And I had no idea what was going on, but the car had assumed that I was going to run into this truck because I had the cruise control on.
Yep.
Now, luckily, there's nobody behind me, but I mean, even those little errors, if we can't fix that now, how the hell are we going to say, okay, truck, see you in Cleveland? You know, it's just, we're not there.
No.
You know,
Not even close, man.
if all the vehicles are autonomous, I can see it happening. But when you've got, like I said, you've got Nana with their turn signal on, and she whips out, it's all or nothing. I don't think you can put autonomous with human interaction together. I think it's just going to cause trouble.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I think the interstates will eventually go. They'll say, well, we're not going to outlaw combustion cars, but I think autonomous vehicles eventually will have the right to be on the interstate, and you'll have to take the secondary roads, because they'll say, well, this is in the interest of safety. This will be a safe hub for autonomous, and you guys can take the secondary roads. So that'll be the way I think that they start to force people into.
Never thought of that angle. I like that.
The grand plan.
Makes sense.
Well, you know, when you're a truck driver and you have hours, what flavor the bug is on the
What that tastes like.
A lot of really interesting crap.
Looks tasty.
Yep, never thought of that angle. I mean, it's all interesting stuff. You think that when we researched it on the show, we find out that most of the autonomous stuff that goes on in America is out in the Southwest.
Yeah.
Because most of the signal for GPS is accurate, and there's no hills and mountains that disrupt it. One of the people that are really pushing it are the grocery warehouse people. And they were saying in one of the articles I read that maybe they would first start out at night, doing it at night, so that the grocery warehouses, it wouldn't affect them or impede them during the day, and it wouldn't be traffic as bad out for people getting in contact with the autonomous vehicles, and probably less people jacking with them during night, right?
Yeah,
at least you see one. Yeah. So, but it's good stuff, man. Interesting stuff. You want to get into random?
Yeah, let's do some random thoughts.
All right, here's our random thoughts section with David B.
So, Grant, we do a random thoughts part where we just kind of throw some questions out. They're pretty dumb, but, so we're going to discuss those next.
David B.
All right. So every Saturday morning, I kind of have the same routine coming over here. I take the Mrs. Mobile and I fill it up with gas because it always needs gas when I'm going to drive it, and head over this way. And so it's about 10 minutes until 8 this morning as I'm leaving Lebanon. And I notice, and I'm fine with this, but I notice a couple guys are mowing their yard already. How early is too early to mow your yard for the convenience of, or for the, where you're not bothering your neighbor? And also it seems a little too wet to be mowing at 10 till 8 in the morning. Yeah. So just a thought. I mean, how early is too early to mow a yard?
I think 7's probably too early.
Yeah.
Like maybe 8:30, 9. The wetness is the mildew is going to burn off of it, right? Because actually with the mildew, you can spread the fungus. Mm-hmm. Fungus will grow on the mildew. Mm. So if it doesn't really, you could spread it around on the grass, actually.
So Grant, Tony's our lawn expert. Yeah, Tony has an immaculate lawn. So Tony's our lawn guy. So
it's hitting up my alley.
I'm just thinking if my neighbors
I have a neighbor like that too.
If my neighbors are mowing at 10 till 8 in the morning.
It's early.
Yeah. Just a thought. I mean, maybe 8. It isn't, but.
How old are they?
It's our age, probably.
Are they? Okay.
Yeah.
That's too
our
old.
age. It is. I don't know. Just a thought. It's just how early is too early and how late is too late. There's so I do hear some people in the neighborhood mowing at like 9:30. I'm like, why the fuck are you still mowing? But whatever. I mean, circumstances are different. I mean, if you have to mow that late, you have to mow that late, I guess. I know that's a really random thought.
Late last night.
There we go.
Yeah, my neighborhood, it's pretty respectful. I live in a great neighborhood down by the Lake Erie, and everybody's got big lots, and Yeah, it's a great neighborhood. You have all this going on, and there's a lot of activity, golf carts and kids and having fun. So maybe it's a little more laid back, not like the city. But when my neighbor decides he wants to cut the grass at 7:30, I don't know. A few of my buddies come over, and we decide to do battery checks on our Harleys at 11.
Hey, yeah.
or some ammo verification, ammo check.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I like
Well
that.
said.
Great,
Well
nice.
said. I do like that. So,
It's push and shove.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know that I have another random
But I
thought.
prefer
I
push and
do.
shove.
Okay.
Is it a good idea to be headed back at night and to light a cigar up in the vehicle?
Yeah, I'm not a smoker, so I can't answer that.
Well, I love cigars.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, thank you for,
Oh, yeah.
I still haven't had a chance to smoke it, but I plan on it. But thank you again for the cigar last time I was here. I have, and usually it's after I've had a few drinks, and my judgment might be a little off. But I know if I do, my wife, because cigars are just one of those things that you just can't. The smell, even if you got all the windows down, you'll still leave that hint of that smell in there. And my wife, I'm going to hear about it. So
Why are you asking? Yeah, there has to be a reason why you're asking.
I knew this was probably coming to the wife because
the boy was the only one that thought it was okay. We were on the way back from Shelby's birthday.
Yeah,
it was smoky.
Yeah,
I was in the back seat.
The
boy was driving.
Unless you're just hanging out the window like a dog.
So how instantaneously did you get bitched at? Was it that quick? Did they like, what the hell are you doing? Or was it just you and Jake in the car?
No, it was me, Jake, his girlfriend, and Ann. And Ann was sitting next to me in the back seat. And then it just got really kind of, it must have been, the wind just wasn't perfectly taking it out.
Right.
It was kind of just, you have the sunroof open and it seems like it would just suck it out. Right. But it doesn't.
You're not going to win that one.
No.
So did you have to put it out or did you say screw it and just went all the way through it?
I tried to, it was a good burner.
Yeah.
So it just wouldn't die. I didn't smoke it for
because of the wind.
Yeah. It's getting
Brent just had to hang your hand out the window all the way home.
Yeah. I ended up, it ended up going out and then, but
let's get Ann in here and see what her perspective is.
No, let's not. The show's over. Yeah, but not a good idea, man. Not a good idea. Can you smoke in the tractor, Grant?
I'm not a smoker either.
Okay, good.
But
neither am I.
It's it's funny about that. It seems like the younger generation is like flips out when you light a cigarette, but it's okay to not show up for work.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's true.
I'm in my 50s, so a lot of my friends smoke. A lot of truck drivers still smoke, but I don't know. Smoking, it doesn't really bother me. I don't smoke in my truck, and if anybody's in there, I don't let them smoke because I get to enjoy that smell long after they leave.
Oh yeah,
yeah, right.
Yep.
But and they're cool about it. Like one of my best friend, he smokes a lot, and I just if he's with me in the truck or something, or even in the car, more likely. If he wants, hey, we'll take my car because then he can smoke. But if we're in my car, he just doesn't. It's just a mutual respect thing, right? But it's amazing how much a non-smoker can smell that for days after. Where if you smoke, you just don't notice it, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you can smell it lingers forever. Because I smoke out in the garage the cigars and they
stay in there.
Do you get in trouble for that?
I've been yelled at about that. I got to leave the garage door open.
Right.
But I do like to burn one every once in a while.
Why are we not recording out by the pool this morning?
Well, we could be. I thought about it.
I'm just messing with you.
That's fine. We'll do that eventually.
Right.
I thought about doing it this morning. I just didn't.
Like in November or something?
Yeah, like in December, January, February. Yeah.
That's what I'll be doing after I finish up with you guys, finish taking the cover off the pool.
Oh, nice.
Oh, nice.
Good.
Yeah. Get that thing open.
Yeah.
But go ahead. Yeah, we're gonna do Grant. We have a segment we call the Trucking Hall of Fame, and we're gonna go ahead and introduce you into the Trucking Hall of Fame. How does it feel to be in
It feels pretty.
Feel good about that?
Thank the Academy.
There you go. You'd like to thank truckers all around the world in the Academy.
You be great.
I'm I'm honored. That's great.
Grant, welcome.
It's been a lot of fun.
Grant, welcome to our Ship's Gonna Happen Hall of Fame, HAUL of Fame. So you've been an absolute great guest today. Would you be interested in coming back on the show sometime before the end of the year?
Absolutely. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah,
first time.
You've been an awesome guest.
Well, thank you. I really enjoyed being on the show. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, so cool. And seriously, if you are ever in the Indianapolis area, please either hit up me or Tony, and we would love to kind of meet up with you wherever you're at. And either if it's a Saturday morning you're swinging through, we'd love to have you come in studio and sit down with us and record. And if it's just a random day, just let us know where you're at, and we'd like to come and shake your hand and buy you a coffee or something like that.
It does sound good. I like the idea of that.
If
I
you
do get down that way from time to time.
Yeah, if you don't mind, or if it's something you think about, if you could give us a shout out on your next bug-oriented or windshield-oriented or whatever video you've got coming up next, it'd be greatly appreciated if you could give us a shout out. If not, that's okay too. So,
no, I'd be happy to. I've often thought that it'd be fun to be on a podcast, and here I am. So I really enjoyed it. As you know, I've got lots to say.
No, all good. No, we appreciate that.
That's great for a podcast.
It is. On your next bug on the windshield, you could take our logo and put it right, and you just ran into the Ship's Gonna Happen bug right there in your window.
I like it. I can do that. Yeah. I could do that.
Awesome. Well, you've been a great guest today, Grant, and we hope to catch up with you again really soon. Yeah, thanks, Grant. Appreciate it, man. And good luck up there in Canada, our neighbors to the north. God bless you all, and hope you get that pool opened and enjoy it the rest of the summer.
I will. And don't forget to look for me at Trucking Life with Grant Brown on YouTube.
Yes.
I have no problem with Shane won't sleep plugging myself.
Yeah, no, all good. We appreciate that. Yeah, no, it's all good. So,
all right, guys. Thanks very much for having me on.
Yeah, best wishes. Thank you.
Thanks, Grant.
All right.
All right, bye.
Yep, bye-bye.
Yeah, there we go. Awesome. It was a good show. He was a great interview. Really, really good interview. So when we had Renee on, somebody didn't hang up the phone. So Renee heard. Oh, I know. We're still in the show. I'm just messing with or telling Matt about Renee. So all good. That was a good show. Awesome. I should have asked him about healthcare, but I wasn't going to.
Oh yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. I forgot to get him to do you're listening to.
Oh, son of a
Ship's Gonna Happen.
We'll have him back.
Oh, well, yeah, we'll get him back on.
It seems like there was something else I was forgetting to ask, but
to him?
Mm-hmm. It's all right. We'll get him back on.
Yeah.
He was a really good guest.
Yeah. So, man, Mother's Day, Father's Day coming up.
Yeah. Memorial Day,
the race coming up in Indy, Indy 500. Do you go to that, Matt?
Not every year. I do sporadically, though. I probably need to get back out there again. I need to take my kids.
Wait, Carb Day used to be a huge.
Oh my God. Is it still?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's still, well, I mean, you haven't had it for 2 years. So,
okay.
Well, freight wise, it used to be a huge freight day.
Massive.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I went to Carb Day, I think 2018, and it was nuts. And
were you there with freight people or no?
No, I went with a buddy of mine, and we each had a backpack with 24 beers each in it, and we each finished our 24 beers.
Well done.
So it was yeah. So
that was yes.
Yeah, congratulations! You finished it all 24.
I'm taking a bow.
Yes, you should. Well, that
you got enough hours in a day. I mean, it sounds like it's a lot, but 10 hours you can knock down a case of beer.
Yeah. Especially if you're in a good time and a good mood.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Who was the music that day? Is that why you were there? Or?
Well, that was at the very end. Let's see here. I think...
usually they're good bands.
Yeah.
Usually they have some good music.
So I think it wasn't Bare Naked Ladies. There was an opening act. Who's the... Well, they had a fat lead singer. Sang a couple of songs in the 90s. Guy played a harmonica.
Blues Traveler.
Yep, Blues Traveler opened up, and then I can't remember who the main act was, but like I said, by that time of day, it was all over but the shouting. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Blues Traveler.
Wow. Do we have to pay to play that?
No.
I'm just messing with you.
Was it really them?
It's, yeah.
Well, who knows?
No,
I didn't hear any vocals.
No
So.
harmonica. It sounded like him. Yeah, no harmonica, but it sounded like him.
Yeah.
That just, it used to be such a big freight day. I don't know that I would go in again. I don't know. Depends on who was going. Plus, it's $30 to get in the door now.
Yeah, man. It used to be
10, 5.
We used to meet at 8 o'clock
Mm-hmm.
on the east side on Crawfordsville Road.
That'd be a West Side.
West side, I'm sorry. Yeah, thank you. On Jack's Pizza.
Yeah.
We used to meet there. And then we would go, you have to get stuff the night before or get up early to get it all. And then we'd meet there. The whole roadway crew would meet there. Mm-hmm. Man, there'd be like 20, 30 people, man.
Yeah.
It's a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you got to be prepared to walk a lot.
Yeah.
If you don't like walking, it's probably not for you. I mean, you can get up there and just sit down, but to me, that's not really fun. I'd rather walk and drink and mingle. And I mean, that's what really the race is, right?
Yeah.
The race is to have a sit and watch a race and drink a lot of beer that way too. But
yeah. Because there is a little race on, or do they just practice on Carb Day, or do they?
They do speed trials. Is that what it is?
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I think it just turns into just like a practice.
Okay.
I mean, there was a purpose behind it.
Yeah.
When it actually had something to do with the carburetor, they were doing whatever they were doing with a carburetor. I'm not a auto guy, so I couldn't tell you, but there was a purpose to that day. And now it's just kind of turned into they don't really need it, from what I understand.
Yeah.
So it's just an excuse to get drunk.
I tell you what,
I don't ever really need one.
Right. Yes. Me either.
I tell you what I watched recently, which was exciting. You remember the movie Breaking Away?
Absolutely.
Okay. So I just happened to be on the internet at this time. I think I was editing our show, and I catch the Little 500, and you can watch it live.
Oh, really?
You can watch it live on the internet through IU's web channel.
I guess I should have figured that, but I never thought about it.
Who knew?
Man, dude, that was exciting.
Have you actually been to one?
Never been to one. And I'm not an Indiana guy, but I watched that movie in Illinois growing up and loved that movie. Just thought that was like one of the coolest movies. Yeah, it was awesome. So there's a Cutters team in the Little 500. The video was good. The quality was good. Everything was good. And so what was interesting about it was exciting. So there's always a wreck at some point, right? And they're on dust, literally riding on. It's got to get slick because it's getting all that heat off the rubber tires. Anyways, so there's a wreck. The team that's leading has been leading half the race, and then there's a crash with 4 laps left, and the number 1 team ends up they get knocked out. And number 1, number 2, number 3 got knocked out, like the seventh place fraternity.
Yeah,
you can see them going nuts. The kids were going nuts. And it was just funny to watch. And then it got really exciting in the last 2 laps. Anybody could win this thing. And man, I had never like witnessed one live. Well, I wasn't there live, but I was watching it live. It was man, it was incredible.
Was that last weekend or the weekend before?
2 weekends ago, I think. Yeah.
All right.
It was
I think
unbelievable.
it's the first
Saturday.
Yeah. It's
in May? Is that what it is?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually have a buddy who is also a truck driver and does listen to the show. Shout out to Charles Kaiser.
Okay.
He went to IU and he was on his fraternity's team.
Oh, it was?
Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome. Yep.
But I guess as a fraternity, like maybe only like in recent history, 2nd or 3rd time to win it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's usually not been a fraternity lately that's won it.
Yeah. I feel like my buddy Charles, I think his fraternity doesn't even exist anymore.
Oh, really?
I could be wrong about that. He'll tell me.
I think the Sig Eps won it. The Sig Eps.
Yeah. I have no idea.
Yeah.
Was that lambda? That's what that is.
lambda. Yeah. Oh my God. But that was like, I just envisioned being in the crowd, being young again. It was just like, what a good time.
Yeah.
And the kids were having fun. And
drank a case of beer that day as well.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah. Well, that was a lot longer day.
Yeah.
That's where me and another friend got down there at like 8 o'clock in the morning. We didn't know what time to get down there. And I had been up all night from working the night before. So this is back when I was like 21. So could handle that a little easier, but drank all day. And then went to his fraternity that night and, drink until 4 o'clock in the morning. I mean, it was, and then I think, and I could be wrong. And again, don't do this, but I think we actually drove home to Mooresville at like 5 o'clock in the morning.
Damn.
I can't remember if we did that, but yeah, it was a long day, but it was fun. If you haven't had a chance to go down there and see it, it is a good time.
I'm surprised it's not like on national TV, or at least on Indiana, national TV.
And the Purdue Grand Prix too. That would be good to see.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, that's
that?
motor. Isn't that motor? Like
I'm not sure.
Motor carts, I think. Purdue has their own little Grand Prix thing.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
I think it's motor carts.
Yeah, and they do. You can. You enter your card in or whatever. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
Forgot about that.
I think that would be cool.
And I'm pretty sure Breaking Away won a Academy Award.
Yeah, it did.
I'm not sure for what.
It was
1980, if I remember correct.
I can't remember. I think it might have been.
But it's pretty cool because it was filmed right there in Bloomington.
Yeah.
So if you know Bloomington pretty well, and just to kind of see how things have changed, I think there's a scene where the guy is out on 37 and he's telling like I think a semi, if I remember right. And he's, drafting behind a semi and he's going like 40 miles an hour or something. It's pretty cool, but you're just kind of looking at the scenery and what the city looked like. And it's changed so much.
Sure.
I think some of the bar, they had the bar and that's still there. What's that big bar down there? They had that I seen that. I remember that in the movie. 1979.
Oh, 79. Yeah,
the Bluebird.
He liked to sing.
Yes,
the Bluebird, right?
Yeah.
This is a little cut here from it.
Yeah, he was big into Italy, so he was wanting to speak Italian and sing Italian songs because those were the best bike riders were from Italy.
Yeah, that movie though, man, that'll just take you back in time.
Okay,
it really
I'll have to
will.
check that out.
How I'm upping my lawn game this year.
All right. Hey, thanks for listening to The Ship's Gonna Happen this Saturday. We are checking out of here. David, you got any thoughts?
No, we're just rambling on. And thanks everybody for listening to the Ship's Gonna Happen show. And thank you to Grant Brown for being an awesome guest today.
Matt, thanks for filling in.
Yep. Thanks for having me.
All right. Ship's Gonna Happen out.